Hello everybody, welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney and today is Thursday, April 7th. Thank you for being here for the top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. This is where we bring you the stories that matter most to you here in Northeast Ohio. These are the stories that you are clicking on, reading, and sharing from our website and our app. And we start off with historic news today. The Senate has voted to confirm Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson to the United States Supreme Court. So when she does take over for Justice Stephen Breyer, she will be the first black woman to serve on the highest court in the land. The final vote in the end was 53 in favor, 47 against. And at 51 years old, when she is sworn in, Judge Jackson will be the second youngest member of the court behind Justice Amy Coney Barrett, who is 50 years old. And she will also be joining a court where no one is yet 75 years old, and that is something that has not happened in nearly 30 years. So that means we'll be looking at this composition of the court pending no other changes to the number of judges on the court, of course, which is something that has been discussed for quite some time. Her first term will be marked by cases involving race, both in college admissions and voting rights. She has said that she will recuse herself from considering Harvard's admissions program. That's because she's a member of its board of overseers. But it is possible that the court could split off a second case involving a challenge to the University of North Carolina admissions process. So she may potentially weigh in on that issue in that regard. In other news, at the national level, former President Donald Trump's criminal investigation is continuing. That's according to a Manhattan district attorney. There were suggestions that the district attorney, Alvin Bragg, had lost interest in pursuing a criminal investigation into the former president's business practices. But today, that district attorney is saying, no, that is not the case. The investigation will continue on despite a recent change in leadership in the DA's office. This is a pretty rare public statement from the DA, and he said that he was denying that the 3-year investigation was winding down or that a grand jury term that's expiring this month would stop the office's ability to move forward to potentially bring charges. Now, citing secrecy rules, he did say that he couldn't talk about details of the investigation, but did say he would publicly disclose findings when the investigation is over. Also news today pertaining to former President Donald Trump. The New York Attorney General's office asked a judge to hold him in contempt of court and fine him $10,000 per day for not complying with a March 31st deadline to turn over documents in a parallel civil investigation also related to the former president's business practices. Now taking a look at what's happening overseas in the battle in Ukraine by Russian people. As Russian attacks continue, Ukrainians are being told to vacate, to evacuate the east, and the West is being asked to send weapons, and weapons. This is as Russian forces are withdrawing from the outskirts of Kyiv to regroup to attack the country's eastern portions. Now, it's been 6 weeks now that Russia's invasion of Ukraine has been ongoing. Then Russia did fail to take Ukraine's capital of Kyiv and change that into a government that was more for Russia and what they are trying to do here. But what we are now all learning is the mayor of the port city of Mariupol is estimating that the number of civilians killed in that area is at 5,000 people. These are the latest estimates coming yesterday from Ukraine. This is more and more evidence of the terrible things that are happening in Ukraine at the hands of Russian soldiers is coming to light. We are now getting more and more evidence of the fact that Russian soldiers have indiscriminately, without any sort of distinction, been attacking civilians over the past days as they retreated from those particular areas of Ukraine. This has been a Russian pullout of an estimated 24,000 troops in the Kyiv and Chernihiv areas in the north, and also a sending of these troops to Belarus or Russia to resupply and reorganize, probably to return fighting in the east. In the nightly address, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky warned that Russian military continues to build up forces in preparation for this new offensive. And Russia has said that its goal is to, quote, liberate the Donbass. This is Ukraine's mostly Russian-speaking industrial area. And Ukraine has said, too, that it is preparing for battle. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said, "We will fight and we will not retreat. We will seek all possible options to defend ourselves until Russia begins to seriously seek peace. This is our land, this is our future, and we won't give them up." Bringing things back home here tied to Northeast Ohio, we are now learning that the brother of Cleveland Browns linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah has been found dead in Virginia, and police are investigating the incident as a homicide. The victim has been identified as 23-year-old Joshua Emmanuel Owusu-Koramoah, and what we are learning is that there was a fire at an area in Hampton, Virginia, and the body was then found inside. Now, what we also know is that sources tell us that Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was holding football camps in Ghana at the time of his brother's death and has not yet publicly commented on the matter. So anyone who has information is asked to immediately call the Hampton Police Division. That number is 757-727-6111, or you can leave a tip with the local crime line. That number is 888-562-5887. Tips can be anonymous, and there is a reward of up to $1,000 for information relating to the killing of Joshua Emmanuel Owusu-Koramoah, brother of Cleveland Browns linebacker. Now, since it is Thursday, we do have the latest update for you on COVID-19 numbers. As of the latest information, we have that on WKYC.com, so make sure you check that out for the most up-to-date numbers. Again, that'll be updated every week on Thursday. There is new information coming out about COVID long-haul patients, and one of the issues that they might be facing, it's something called POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And what this is what we are learning from doctors. Cleveland neurologist Dr. Robert Wilson says that these cases have doubled, if not tripled, when connected to COVID-19, and they now have a center specifically related to this at the Cleveland Clinic because of the high number of patients. So what happens is people will get a mild case of COVID, they'll recover, and then a few weeks later they'll develop symptoms that include lightheadedness, fatigue, racing heart, and brain fog. And what we're also learning from the doctors is that most of these cases are resulting in women. Other symptoms include blurry vision, headaches, and nausea, and they're linked to either low or high blood pressure, but the exact cause not yet pinpointed. This affects the autonomic nervous system, and that controls basic functions like your heart rate, your breathing, and your digestion. This is what happened to Marissa Duran, who had a volleyball scholarship to Cleveland State University, and in the summer of 2020, she tested positive for COVID-19 and then continued to experience these symptoms after the fact. And it became so severe for Marissa that sports are actually out of the picture for her right now. And she's in the process right now of working on a project about her condition and the impact on her life. And she says it's something that people don't see when they look at people. They say she thinks most people would look at her and say that she's back to normal, but she says this is not the normal that she's used to. So if you are in this situation, make sure that you check with your doctor about those symptoms if that happens to be something that you are experiencing. Now today, the 11th annual Forget Me Not Telethon is going on here at WKYC. This is a tradition, and it benefits the Cleveland Animal Protective League. So this partnership will be happening all day today. It started at 5 a.m. and it goes to 7:30 p.m. And what people are asked to do is to donate to the Cleveland APL because they get no government funding. They rely completely on donations, and what those donations will be used for, it'll be complete support of the APL, will provide animals with medical care, animal rescue, and daily care of animals at the shelter. So if you would like to donate, reminder, last year we raised $100,000 in this telethon. You can do it by texting APL to 243725, or you can call 216-566-7387, or you can go to clevelandapl.org. We've got all of that information on WKYC.com and also on our WKYC app. Now, today is the Cleveland Guardians opening day, and we have a list of the roster on WKYC.com. It's a little bit different this year because of the shortened spring training. They're allowed to have 28 players on the roster right now. They won't have to shrink that to 26 until May. So we have a full breakdown of the 28 players who are on the official roster for the Cleveland Guardians as they take on the Kansas City Royals tonight. Let's start off with the starting pitchers. There are 5 of them. Shane Bieber returns, Aaron Savali, Zach Plesac, Cal Quantrill, and Tristan McKenzie. And if you want to see a breakdown of the rest of the positions, head to WKYC.com. Remember, the Guardians take on Kansas City Royals in Kansas City at 4:10 p.m. today. And with every opening day, we do have a tradition of our 3 News staff picks put together by our digital producer, Tyler Carey. So you want to check those out on WKYC.com. I think I might be among the more optimistic people this season. I'm pulling for a final record of 84-78 and finishing second in the AL Central Division. You can check out the rest of the predictions and my colleagues' predictions on WKYC.com. There's some funny ones. And as we look ahead to baseball season, the Cleveland Guardians have released their 2022 broadcast schedule. So if you can't make it to the game and you want to watch it on TV, you've got some options to do that. And there will be 2 games that you'll be able to watch right here on WKYC. And that includes the home opener next Friday, April 15th. That'll be against the San Francisco Giants at 7:05 p.m. And also an August 15th game that'll be against the Tigers at 7:10 p.m. So mark your calendars, check that out. There will also be some internet-only broadcast national games. We have that lineup on WKYC.com. Take a look at that for all of the information you need to know about how you can catch the Guardians. And reminder, all 162 regular season contests will be broadcast on WTAM 1100 radio, and 155 of them will be on Bally Sports Great Lakes Television, plus those 2 simulcasts on WKYC TV. Now, we've got to look at the redesigned Bertman Stadium mustard. You know that is a classic for baseball season, and you can find that on WKYC.com. The packaging was released on Tuesday. It's for the new Bertman Original Guardians label, so you know that had to be redesigned because this is the first time the team is going by the Guardians. And there's also a new Bertman Great Lakes Beer mustard label. These should be hitting these products should be hitting shelves in the next couple of weeks, so you're going to want to check that out. And with it being Thursday, you know that we have the Good News Show out on Thursdays. It's called It's All Good News. It drops on the WKYC YouTube page at 1 p.m. And I want to shout out our win of the week. This week, it goes to Emerson Flora of Hudson. She is a 16-year-old student at Walsh Jesuit High School, and she has just made the top 24 on American Idol. And her latest performance got a standing ovation from none other than Katy Perry. She played a song by Adele on the piano. Beautiful singing. Learn more about her story and also get more reasons to smile on It's All Good News. You can find that on the WKYC YouTube page. It's also linked at WKYC.com/Instagram. And we start off with one of those stories, finish off with one of those stories where you just think, fate has to be a thing, right? Because there's a woman in California who buys scratcher lottery tickets, and she accidentally won $10 million because while she was buying her scratchers, a stranger bumped her. And she said she, didn't think too much of it, but this rude stranger bumped her while she was selecting her scratchers. Usually she selects some of the cheaper scratchers to get more of them. Well, she got bumped into selecting a $30 scratcher, and that $30 scratcher with the $40 that she put into the machine won her $10 million. She said she looked down at the scratcher while she was in her car. She was in complete disbelief. She scanned it in her California lottery app, and she couldn't believe it. She had to pull over. She said she almost wrecked her car with the surprise. And she said with this money, she will be buying a house and starting a non-profit. So congratulations to her, LaQuidra Edwards, and her $10 million accidental winner because someone was rude to her. This happened at a Vons supermarket in Tarzana, which is just north of Los Angeles. So those, I guess, a little just not very conscientious of what they're doing people in Los Angeles, in this case, turned out to be a really good thing. So congratulations to her. That's it for your 3 News Now update today for Thursday, April 7th. I will be out for the next several days, so I will see you back here in a week with more 3 News Now on next Thursday, April 14th. Everyone have a great day, have a great rest of your week, a wonderful weekend, and a start to next week, and I'll see you back here next Thursday.